Hello.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live on Facebook. I am dancing during the Facebook delay. It's fine. Hi. My name is Alicia McBride, and we are here today with Debi Baldwin. We are celebrating this book. We are celebrating the Empath Effect, Powerful Stories of Love, Courage, and Transformation. Debi wrote an article in here called Forever the Love of My Soul. So we are going to talk a little bit about her article today and surviving, not just surviving, but thriving after you survive trauma. Thriving. We don't want to just survive. We want to thrive after the trauma because things happen in life. Lots of bad things happen in life, and we have to know how to handle that. And we have to understand that we can still be ourselves afterwards. So we're here with Debi, and I'm going to read Debi's bio. Debi Baldwin is a writer, veteran, and a warrior. She feels a calling to share her story of thriving after trauma with powerful vulnerability in the hopes of encouraging others as they navigate their own healing journeys. As an intuitive healer, Debi channels these gifts into her writing and is in the process of creating her own blog and preparing for future speaking and facilitation opportunities. Debi is also a published poet, a social justice advocate, a registered yoga teacher 200 hours, and a Reiki master and healer. She can be reached at debi.baldwin@gmail.com. Her bio is also in the description of the interview. So I have told Debi previously that her, yeah, you're laughing because you know what I'm going to say. Her article wins the prize for making me feel the most. Like, I cried while reading many articles, but your article just hit like the depths of my soul. Like, I don't know if it was the way, like your description, the words that you used, the poem from the very beginning of your article. I was just a mess, and I felt it all, and it was healing, and it felt good and bad at the same time, and it was just like all the feelings. It was amazing. It was amazing. So oh my gosh, welcome, Debi. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you. That's some pretty powerful feedback from a fellow empath. I really appreciate that. I'm very grateful to know that my words were able to convey so much.
Definitely. I felt you.
Thank you. Thank you for feeling me.
Not in a creepy, weird way.
Not in a creepy way, in all the good ways.
Oh my gosh. So tell me without going into detail, like too much detail about your article and giving away too much, but tell me a little bit about your article and how you learned to thrive after trauma.
Okay.
Okay, let's just dive right in.
In my article, I was really trying to create a story that really expressed the intersectionality of surviving trauma as an empath, because I absolutely believe that it informs us. Being an empath informs the way that trauma affects us and what we do with it. So I tried to write the article from that perspective because I am a thriving survivor of a lot of trauma. The trauma in my life started when I was 2. So, I don't really have a before. So I've been navigating that ever since. And I'm 54 now, and I'll probably be navigating it, until my last day. And that's okay because it's a process. But I really wanted I almost feel a charge to share my story, because I can remember all of the times that, of course, as a child, when I had no kind of agency or anything, being told, oh my God, you're too sensitive, you're too this, you're too that, just stop. And then, going into the military, which was the perfect environment for an empath.
Insert major sarcasm here.
Exactly. Let's escape that into the military because that's a great idea. And then I stayed there for 20 years. So that was, 20 more years of messages of, you've got to be these things, and these are the acceptable things, and those are the only acceptable things, etc. And somehow trying to figure out the fact that, wait a minute, these are everyone else's expectations and everyone else's rules that are being put upon me, and that does not make them right. It doesn't make them right for me. The invalidation that I felt ever since I was a child, because I did not fit into all these boxes I kept putting myself in and others kept trying to put me in. There was a lot of healing just around that, just around accepting the fact that, hey, this is okay. This is not weak. This is not, in fact, I think it's quite the opposite, because we have to be pretty freaking badass strong to handle being an empath successfully. So yeah, that kind of informed where I wanted to go. Like I said, I feel very empowered by my story at this point. To me, it's extremely empowering to vulnerably stand in my story of trauma, because I learned not to get stuck there. Not saying that was always the case, because there was absolutely a time that I had a victim mentality and I was very stuck in it. And it took a friend who had to kind of call me out on it and help me wake up and realize, okay, wait, am I just going to wallow, or am I ready to do something?
Those friends are awesome.
They are. And I hope that she sees this, because she knows exactly who she is. And, that was a point where I started learning what boundaries were with myself, with partners, especially with friendships, etc. And how that really helped me step into exactly who I am. As messy as it may be, as unhealed as parts of it may be, that's okay. That this is where I'm supposed to be on this path, and I'm going to be right where I'm at. I'm going to try to heal from the past as I start shutting that door and moving forward and looking forward and learning how to truly thrive after all of those things. And maybe in sharing some of my stories, it will let people know who may be experiencing something similar and feeling so alone, so misunderstood, like I used to feel. Maybe it'll let them know, maybe I'm not alone. Maybe there's some validation around what I'm going through. So yeah, that's kind of my thing. And yes, I intend to start a blog around these similar ideas, just to kind of, I don't know, that feels like the right path for me. I'm going to start a blog, and eventually I want to take the blog entries, put them in chronological order in some kind of way, and publish a book. And I'm very open to where else it may take me. I trust that the universe is going to line it up exactly like it's supposed to, kind of like it lined up this opportunity.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm really glad you're part of this book. I'm very glad you shared your story. It was beautiful. And it's nice to know that, like, it's okay not to be completely healed. It's okay to still have issues.
Nobody ever get completely healed.
Everybody has issues.
Yes, we all do.
And that's okay.
Yes.
But the point is that you're working through them and you're trying, like, you're acknowledging that you have issues and you're working towards healing. I think there's a huge difference between people who are working towards healing and people who are still stuck in the victim mentality, or they just don't care. They're like, I am who I am. And,
Yeah.
they just don't care. So I think there's a huge, like, gap between those people. And I think it's wonderful to open yourself up to the possibility of healing, and to, just start going in that direction.
Yeah. And those people who don't care, those are the people who are hurting the worst, who are most terrified by all of it. And especially as a military veteran, I think that the military often kind of breeds a mentality that can lead us to coming out saying, hey, look, this is just, it is what it is. I got PTSD or whatever. This is just me, take it or leave it. That's kind of the, kind of the mentality that is often seen. And when we start saying, hey, wait a minute, sometimes it takes things starting to fall apart for ourselves personally to say, this isn't working out the way I planned. Maybe it's time. So, and I had some of those moments myself, because when you have childhood trauma and you're super sensitive, it doesn't always set you up to make the best life choices. Because, that empathic heart, you want to help everybody, you want to heal everybody. And when you're still stuck in your own trauma, that is like the absolute worst. And I know other people have talked about like narcissistic relationships, and oh yeah, I've been through all of those things.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And I mean, it literally took me until around 40, maybe even into my 40s, to actually finally understand, wait a minute, I am recreating these situations because this is all I've ever known.
That's right.
Therefore, it's up to me to break the patterns, find new ways to look at things, etc. But I mean, it took until my 40s. And I like to think I'm kind of smart, but sometimes, sometimes it's a lot to wade through, and we're not ready until we're ready. So
that's right. You're not ready until you're ready.
Yeah.
That's right. And then sometimes the universe hits you over the head and is like,
oh my God,
be ready.
You thought you're not ready? Oh, you're ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Exactly. And it comes from unexpected places, especially as empaths. I mean, I think that we may, reach out to the common places that people reach out for help. And it doesn't always resonate with us because we just navigate things differently. The whole world looks and feels different to us. And so, it took some more non-traditional things. It took me finding an amazing yoga teacher and an amazing Reiki practitioner. And even I had gone back to college to finish my degree. And believe it or not, a history class was very life-changing for me, starting to really understand, because I had a hard time shifting some of my foundational spiritual beliefs, we'll just say, and reconciling that with the direction I was beginning to move into. And history actually helped. It helped me release some things, because as I started learning more about how some of our social and cultural norms came to be, it helped me much more easily walk away from them and figure out what worked for me.
You were in the right place at the right time. You took the class that you were meant to take.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of cultural norms, okay, I'm going to say something that's been unverified. I have not checked this. I need somebody to do a fact check real quick. So yesterday, I was talking to somebody who said, John Wayne, like huge public icon, said something to the effect of, don't ever apologize. Like never apologize. And I was like, what? What? Like, here is this huge iconic figure saying something like, don't ever apologize.
I mean,
I was
isn't that's on one hand, that can be the epitome of being authentic. Are we going to apologize for being authentic?
Okay.
And we're not responsible for other people's feelings. So are we apologizing for, well, I'm sorry that you're mad. That's yours, or whatever. So, I mean, I could see some ways where that could,
okay,
play out. Although us empaths, we don't ever want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, we're not responsible for other people's feelings. Just like it's not healthy for us to take on all the stuff going on with those around us. That's part of, I think, learning that same lesson. How you respond to me is all about you. That was a massive lesson for me. It took me a very hard time to understand that. But somebody said to me once, and it can sound very cocky, but it was so true. How egotistical is it that we think that everyone around us is reacting to us all the time?
No, yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's really true. We're centering ourselves around everything, but people are doing what they're doing, saying what they're saying, reacting the way they're reacting, completely based on themselves and where they are and what's going on with them.
Because
And
they're moving through their own trauma.
yes, and we get fallout, unfortunately, because it's messy. Yeah,
Everything is messy. Healing is messy. Life is messy.
indeed.
Embrace the messy.
Exactly. You have to, or you drown in it.
Well, I like your perspective. Thanks.
I've never known, thankfully, I've never known how to just give up or how to just be like, okay, this sucks. Guess I'll just accept it. I've got no patience for those things. So, and maybe to a fault, at times, but I've always been the type that's like, okay, what are we dealing with? What's going on? Okay, now let's figure out what we can do about it and let's move forward. And
I love that. That's me.
yeah,
A little bit. Not like 100%, but I'm like 80%.
we can't always do it all the time ever, but
that's like, here, this is what we're dealing with. Let's, this is the direction I want to go. Let's go.
yeah.
Like, more than a year ago, I said, okay, I'm gonna put together a book of collaboration of stories, and I'm gonna do it. And here we are, slightly more than a year later.
Exactly.
Having this interview, and because I knew the direction I wanted to go, and I just did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
how many times?
it's not easy.
It's not. And how many times and how many people are there that just get stuck there like, well, I want to do this, but I don't know where to begin. And it's so easy to get stuck there.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I guess, I was always that kid that had that last question in class, like, okay, wait, I got one more question, because I'm not scared to ask the questions. Okay, hey, how do I get there? Hey, do you know somebody that can help me? Hey, who can, give me some little nuggets of wisdom to move towards this? And
You're not afraid to ask for help.
never have been.
Wonderful. Because if you never ask, the answer is always no.
Exactly. And I'm okay with hearing no, but because then at least I know. Now that was a lot different as a child, and as my story may reflect, there wasn't much room for asking for any kind of needs or asking for questions, but there was still something in me that knew this is not the way it's supposed to be. And that was that being an empath thing. I always believed it. I always believed that some of the crap that life dealt me wasn't going to be forever. There was always this thing in my brain that's like, just keep going, because you're going to get to that place where this is not going to be the way it plays out, even though I had no clue what that would look like.
Your intuition told you, your body told you, spirit told you, you understood from that like deeper place that this was temporary and this wasn't right. And you would eventually be on the other side of that.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Exactly.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to wrap up here in a minute. Is there anything else that you would like to say to our audience, to our viewers? Is there anything that you want them to know? Any golden nugget of wisdom?
Trust yourself. Above all else, trust yourself. Trust what you feel, not what you think, not what you analyze, not what you break it down to be, but the way you feel about things. Believe it. Believe it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Because I think us empaths, it's hard for us to think anything other than the best about the people we care about. And sometimes they're not on the same path we're on and not nearly in the same place. So when they show you who they are, believe it. And first and foremost, we are worthy of being taken care of. We are worthy of our needs being met, no matter what that looks like, no matter what society tells us, no matter what our family may tell us. We are worthy. We always have been worthy.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, Thanks for being here. Oh my gosh. So this has been a fantastic conversation about thriving after trauma, because there's life after trauma. There's good life after trauma, and you can do it. You can
Yes,
do it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Debi Baldwin, for being here. Debi, tell everybody where they can reach you.
So currently my website is not yet published, but I am available via email, and it's Debi.Baldwin, and it's spelled DEBI.Baldwin@gmail.com. And my phone number, because why not just put it out there for everybody, is 502-235-9529. So
Well, there you go. You're
that's
about to get a lot of spam calls.
that's okay, because the people in between the spam calls
That's right.
will be worth it.
They matter.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's right. All right. Well, thank you, Debi, for being on here today. Again, my name is Alicia McBride, and we were here celebrating Debi's article inside of the Empath Effect, Powerful Stories of Love, Courage, and Transformation. So thanks for watching. You guys have been fabulous. Please give us a like and a comment, share the video. We would love to reach as many people as possible.
Books available on Amazon and Books A Million.
That's right. There you go. And the link is in the description.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thanks, Debi. Have a great day.